in that order. Welcome back to the No Boring Stories podcast. I am Alex Street, and I've got, oh man, she is creating energy here. She is just filling this space with all the positive energy, everything that she's got. She's dancing, if you can't see it. Bridget Carroll is here, and I am so looking forward to this conversation. Bridget, how are you doing today?
Oh, I am always great when I'm on a Zoom call with you. We just shoot the shit. We just have fun. We laugh. We tell it how it is. I'm gonna love this.
It is true. This is just going to be a recording of our regular conversations. Because we do laugh, and they're all like, how are you? And like, what's going on? And also, wait, let me help you with that. It sounds like there's something missing there. Can I clarify that for you? Back and forth. You do that for me. I do that for you. It's brilliant. This is what
so good.
Like friendship is.
Absolutely. I freaking love it.
So good. And also, we buy each other's products, so that helps.
Really does.
Okay, here's the thing. I asked you, like, do you have a favorite story? And people are so quick to be like, oh yeah, it's Lord of the Rings, or oh, of course, it's Little Women. Every time I read it, I cry. And I asked you, what's your favorite story? You're like, my story from last year, the journey that I went on. And I love it. Because
you've trained me. Can we just say that? Okay. I feel like you've trained me well, right?
Yes,
that I'm thinking about my story.
Exactly. Yeah.
For the listeners, you've worked with me. I've worked with you.
Yes.
On my story for, I don't know, 4 or 5 sessions, hours of, working through my story. So now, when I come, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm trying to be a really great student over here. Okay.
It's great. I have the apple on my desk. This is fabulous. And I just think this is just how you go through your life. You're like, I don't need Frodo. Come on. I've got Bridget. Like, who needs Joe and her sisters when you've got Bridget's story? It's good enough.
I mean, to be truthful, I love Harry Potter. If we want to throw him into the mix,
we do. Of course, we do. I am always here to talk about Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
Yes, especially Ron,
of course.
A redhead.
Ron, you're a Weasley, aren't you?
Definitely Hufflepuff.
Did you see yourself? Did you read it when it came out?
My godfather, who has been a big part of my life, bought me the entire box set, and I never touched it. To be truthful, I didn't really like reading until I became an entrepreneur a year and a half ago, and then I became obsessed with self-development, but I wasn't a big reader. And when I was in high school, this is a story. I was in high school. I would never read the books that were prescribed in English. I would spark note them, and I would ace the tests. And why do more work?
Why work smarter? Come on,
not harder.
Not read. Isn't that how the saying goes?
Something like that.
Okay, what are you reading now?
Okay, what am I reading right now? Am I allowed to cuss on here? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let it ride.
Okay. Rich as fuck. Love it. It is a book about energy and manifestation and how our thoughts become beliefs and all of that jazz. So I love that one. That's what I'm reading right now. I'm reading it for the third time.
Oh, come on. So it's self-development books that you're like, I can read these so easily now.
Oh yeah.
But it's not now you're picking up that Harry Potter box set and going like, bring me into Hogwarts, baby.
No.
Yeah.
Not even at all.
Yeah. No judgment. I'm just trying to understand. Because I was celebrating the fact that you're like, yeah, I want to read. Bring me the books now.
Yeah.
What a great thing. My daughter's a voracious reader. I simply don't understand where she gets it from, because I think the first chapter book I read was in grade 9. And while you weren't reading any, I was at least reading one. And it was Frankenstein. And then I gave up after. I think I read The Great Gatsby. Again, school assigned books. But then probably nothing until my 30s.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Again, still more than you, but
hope my English teachers never
They-
hear that.
They've
got to know. They've got to know.
I know. What are they going to do? Like, really?
Curse me.
Probably celebrate. Wow. Good job, Bridget. You did it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are we here to do? I'm so glad that you came on the podcast that I could make fun of how little you read. This is so fabulous. Let's talk about you and actually how amazing you are and the phenomenal work that you're doing right now. I am such a fan of you and how I've seen you grow and change over. I don't even think that it's a year that we've known each other now, but my goodness, I mean, again, I've worked with you at one point to really expand and understand your story and communicate that. But the way that you show up with this, like, never end, it's like, okay, the universe is ever expanding, right? At an accelerating rate. I feel like that's you.
Yeah. It's funny. I feel that way totally. And then sometimes, when I get in my day, I don't know if anyone, listening to this feels this way. It feels like slow progress. But then I look back and I'm like, wow, my level of success and the vision that I have for myself and for my family and for my generations to come in my family is really high. And that's truly what drives me. And I do the inner work to believe that it's possible for me.
Yeah. So yes, the universe is ever expanding at an accelerating rate. And some days it feels like it's a little slow.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking before we pressed record where, 2022, we're recording this January 26th, 2022. And I felt like January has felt like mud. Trudging through mud after issue and issue. And entrepreneurship truly has never felt that way until this very moment. And it shows me that I'm growing, that I'm still expanding, but it's to a level that I've never even went to. I have a team now. I've never had a team. I've never been the CEO, had a COO, had full-time people. We now have 3 full-time people on my team. And so all of these beliefs are starting to come up and all these different obstacles. We're growing a supplement company. I've never done that. So, it's these tasks that I've never learned how to shop for liability insurance for my company. So it's these things that I've never done that just they're feeling a little hard right now.
Is it hard because they're not your skill set? They're not things that you naturally think about. So now you're adding them onto all these things that you're naturally thinking about and expanding in. Is that it? I
think that's part of it for sure. I think I've never done them. And then, we just hired a COO 3 weeks ago. And so, yes, she is my person who I delegate a lot of that to, but she's still learning what we do. So it's almost feeling like this, I'm going to do this, going to do that. And it's just a lot of moving parts.
Learning to dance. Yeah,
come salsa with me. Yeah, we've known each other 3 weeks, but let's salsa. Let's do it.
Would that be your dance of choice?
Definitely. My hips would be swinging.
I went swing dance. I imagine swing dancing. I had this dream that in high school, I was like, me and my future wife, we're going to take swing dancing lessons. That's how in love we're going to be.
Do you and your wife swing dance?
No, not at all. Never once.
This year, can we add that to 2022 goals? I'm swing dancing, baby.
You know what? There's goals enough. Okay. Let's start with where we're at. Okay. So you've opened up so much already about who you are, where you're at, that this chapter in your story that says, I just love it because we are right here in this moment. There's no generalities about this. There's no this is basically where I am. You're like, not today. Today's hard. Today feels slow. Today feels like mud. And yet we're doing a thing. We're doing a thing that we've never done before. Let's just open that up a little bit and tell me, what is that? What are you doing? What are you building? And to what impact? Why?
Yeah. So I'm a gut health dietitian by trade, and I was, went to school for that, became
Okay, hold on. Don't give me the backstory. Not yet. Just
okay.
now. Just tell me where you are now. Just give me a
Okay.
title, give me give me an impact, because we'll go back and we'll see how you got here in a minute.
Okay. So right now I'm
Mhm,
a dietitian, a CEO, an entrepreneur founder.
mhm.
And I'm building a supplement company, simultaneously building our coaching company. And I also have a business coaching company where I have a mastermind and everything like that.
What's the difference between the coaching, like a gut health coaching company,
Yep.
right, and then business coaching
Yep.
and supplements?
All three, baby.
How many of those existed a year ago?
One.
Business coaching or
No gut health.
gut health, and then that was rolling so much that you're like, whoa, maybe I could do business coaching with that.
Yeah. There was
Teach
something on
people how
my
to do what I've
heart.
done.
Exactly. I was like, I'm having so much success. I need to teach people how to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I was about to go to the backstory.
know. And I'm kind of bringing you here. So um, I just think it's so amazing to just put that context out there of what you are doing right now. Is these massive things are fresh, massive
Mhm.
things, and building this team. And to what end? Like, take one client that works with you, and like they finish again. What it right? There's these three different avenues that they could come
Mhm.
across you. Um, Pick one person who interacts with you in these settings, and they leave after you're having your support in some way. They feel what?
So for business coaching, truly they come to work with me and they leave feeling confident.
Mhm.
They leave feeling sure of their purpose. They leave feeling clear.
And would that be the same with health coaching?
Absolutely. Although I'm not the one doing the health coaching anymore,
Right.
it's my team, but absolutely that's the same outcome. Feeling confident, sure. Absolutely.
If there's one of those words, you said another word with business coaching. What was it? Confident, sure, and
Clear.
clear. If there's one of those words that you could pick that you would say, okay, this is me right now. This is Bridget showing up today, January 26th. Slap a name tag on my shirt, and I walk into a room, and this is the word that people see and know about how I feel right now. Is it one of those three words? And if so, which one?
Confident, absolutely.
Yeah. So you're showing up confident AF and
Mhm.
helping other people feel the same
Absolutely.
in different ways.
Yeah.
Why? Like, this is now let's open this up a bit. Where does that come from? Why do you care? Why is that such a thing for you? You're like giving your life. You've given everything that you have. You are bringing the energy and finding energy and developing energy like never before in your life for the sake of this mission to help people feel confident, sure, and clear,
Mhm.
so that they can go and do the same thing.
Mhm.
Where does that freaking passion come from? Like, where does that begin for you? Were you born confident?
I mean, I think my mom infused it into us somewhat, always rooting us on, being our cheerleader, words of affirmation, everything. She did all of that when it
Yeah.
wasn't cool. She should have I
Like,
don't know,
literally when it
capitalized
wasn't
on
cool,
that.
like she comes and meets you at school and is like, "Hey honey, you're super." Or like, you mean like
Yes.
other parents weren't doing it? Like, that there were books about it.
You correct. She'd be
Yeah.
like, "You are so smart. You are so all of these things." And it did infuse confidence into us. I believe if you're confident in what you're doing, you live a better life. Like every second feels better. And isn't that the goal? I mean, that's my goal is to live life feeling every minute of my life pretty much better than I was feeling before.
As again, this goes with that ever expanding. It's like, okay, there's this, and then it just a smidge better,
Yep.
better than before.
Mhm.
Is there a limit to that?
Absolutely not.
That is insane. Some people are hearing this and are going, Bridget, you are nuts. Of course, you cannot live your life like that. There must be an end to that. You can't possibly believe that there is just this never ending expansiveness to your confidence or to the betterness that you can experience.
Well, I believe that when at times I might not feel confident, right?
Sure.
And those are times that give me opportunities to grow even more. And I look at that and I feel, wow, I could feel even better if I go towards this thing that I actually truly in my soul want, or I could be in this in this room with people that I aspire to be. And actually, I can be one of those people.
Right. So it's looking at the things and not just imagining or thinking one day, but it's saying, why not today?
Absolutely.
And this begins because your mom is pumping sunshine up your butt. Like, just like you've got it. You know, as a kid, you can do no wrong with her.
I mean, I had to go through some hard things to like, you know, realize that I was worthy of the things that I wanted. You know, I'm from the Midwest. So for people listening from the United States, typically us Midwesterners are not the go-getters. You know, we're not the, I believe in myself, I can do anything, I desire to be wealthy type people. And so that's how I grew up. And so it started to happen like in my 20s where I was like, this is actually what I want. This level of success is what I want. So I'm going to have to do the inner work, the belief work to believe that I'm worthy of it.
So that's interesting, is because it sounds like what you just described there is like you're in this container that people don't typically break out of. But you have this significant voice in your life saying, like, to the moon, baby, to the moon. And you're like, do people go to the moon? People from here, people like us don't do things like that. Is how you grew up.
Funny. Yeah. It's funny that you say it like that. And, you know my story and, so intimately, but like my godfather was from the Midwest. He was from Michigan and was a substantial person in my life. And he moved out to Boston, which is where I now live. He's in private equity. He was crushing it my whole childhood. He would send me the most beautiful gifts and he would fly in for one day to go to my high school graduation. And it was like, wow, if he can do it, you know, he's 20 years older than me, but he was an inspiration in my life. Like, yes, my mom was cheering me on, but I had this person coming from the Midwest, going to a big city, going to somewhere where people are very successful, crushing it and showing up still for his family.
I'm kind of just astounded by the fact that like a godfather puts that level into, like, he took it seriously.
He showed up for everything. It was pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
He is a cool guy. So what kind of things, as you are growing up in that environment, what kind of, like, are you athletic? Like, what kind of things are you thinking, this is maybe the direction I could go with my life? Yeah. In your 20s, you think like this level of success is what I want, but in what frame and within what kind of context are you thinking this is how I'm going to make that impact that I've been told I can make, I can see might be possible? Are you like, as you grow up, as you get into that, what are you thinking? Like, this is where I can make that impact, this industry, this way?
It's expanded, I think, every quarter, every 6 months, every year of my life. I expand what I believe is possible. And it's kind of interesting because I'm allowing it to ever expand. I think, again, that's like the really important part.
Okay. I want to lean into that for a second. But first, okay, so I want to talk about what that means to allow the expansion to happen. I might have more questions, but it might be clarified. Can you give me a moment in your life where you remember that happening, where there was kind of this like, I can resist this or I can allow this? What does that look like?
Yeah. So I can think of many times, but one specifically, one very specifically, I, was in a mastermind, a high level mastermind, and I made a great friend. Her name's Courtney Vi.
And this is recently. This is
recently, very recently.
This is like last year.
This is, August of 2021. So this is literally like 7 months ago.
Yeah.
I was at this friend's house who I met in a mastermind. And I was prioritizing, even so being at her house, doing the inner work. So I would wake up in the morning, I would meditate for like an hour. And so I had on my heart to start the supplement company. And I was like, great, I have money in the bank. I'm going to invest all of my money and I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to go all in. But it didn't seem like expansive enough. Like I was like, what is missing? And I did this meditation on a lake. I was on a lake while I was meditating in the morning. And this number, $250,000, came to me. And I was like, what does that mean? Came out of the meditation and realized that's my new level of success, that I want, that it's available to me to make $250,000 per month from this company alone. And that, why that's important is that came to me and it made me think different about starting this company. So instead of me, where maybe I don't know how much money I had at the time to put in this company, it made me think bigger of like, can I bring more people into this vision that I have? Can they support me? And then can I go further quicker?
And was there resistance to that idea, resistance, call it fear, but as you hear that number, you then 250,000. Wow. That sounds like a great lifetime goal. And you're like, nah, honey,
that's like
slap it on a month. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was exciting. I, got up from the meditation. I told my girlfriend, like she is one of my biggest cheerleaders, also our first and highest investor in the end. A couple months later was our first investor. And, no, it felt like exciting. It still feels exciting. And it still feels like it's going to happen this year. It just made me think about things differently.
So, okay. So this comes back to this idea of you allowed yourself to expand.
Yes.
What's the alternative in that situation? What would the alternative have looked like?
You can't do that. You've never built a supplement company. What do you think you're doing? You've never raised money before. You're 29 years old. What do you think you're doing trying to build $100 million company? All of that.
And all of that shows up, but there's this belief that's bigger.
Yes.
This is the thing. This is where people just go like, what? Like, this is why people come and find you and work with you, because they're like, she's got something that I want, but I don't see how it's possible in my life, but she seems to have it figured out.
Yeah.
Just give it all to us now. What is the thing? What's the secret sauce?
Gosh, I mean, this is funny because like I can talk all about doing the inner work and the subconscious work and meditating, but like I decide that like what's inside me is for me. Like if I have an idea, then like I deserve to allow that idea to live out. I deserve for that to happen. So
where did that show up? Where did that, like, again, let's go backwards now a little bit and say like, okay, this idea of like, I deserve this. Yeah, I deserve this. Thought is a good thought. I deserve that. Are you in college thinking that? Like what, as a teenager or later on, like when do you remember that first really like being a significant idea that like, this is good and this is for me and I'm going for it?
So it's interesting. I feel like I haven't told you this story before, but I was in 8th grade and I made cheerleading, but I only made it for the football team, which, by the way, everyone made cheerleading for the football team. And I didn't make it for the basketball team. There were 22 girls on the football cheerleading squad, and there were 8 girls on basketball. I didn't make basketball. And that stung for a hot second. And then after that, I was like, I'm going to call my shot. I'm going to be the best damn girl on this team. And at the time, my thought was, and actually this comes up for me now, I'm going to show the coach she made a wrong decision. I'm going to, and truly, I became the person that people wanted to work with because I could throw really high. And I worked hard to a point and I was good.
Yeah. So not only is it begins with this like core belief, like what? Okay. So, but what's interesting though, it's almost like they made a decision based on what they did see.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say they made the right decision, that what you were demonstrating in tryouts was not enough to make the basketball cheerleading squad.
Yeah.
So if that's true, then how you were showing up was not as big as you could play.
Mm-hmm. I think there's this thing too, where like I can grow quick. From that, I took like, oh, I'm going to like just crush it.
Yeah.
After this. And maybe, to a point that's like, I'm not showing my best in the beginning, or maybe it's like, I'm a fast learner. I truthfully believe it's like, I can catch my belief then. And maybe my belief now is like, I can catch on quickly and I can move fast.
But like, what made you even try out for the cheerleading squad? Like, were you like, did you just love to dance? Did you love to jump? What was it that like, were you already doing that for a long time? And then you're like, okay, I'm going to try this. Or was it on a whim? You're like, I should do something.
I just was like, I needed a sport, and cheerleading looked fun. Like throwing girls up in the air looked fun.
So there's this, right? Just put this in the story here. You see this thing, you're like, that looks fun. I'll give it a shot. You show up, not very good, and don't make the team. You're like, wait, but I like it enough.
Uh-huh.
Or even if it sounds like even if I didn't like it enough, I care about proving myself. I care about like showing this woman that she made the wrong choice. I can learn how to be better. I'm going to be the damn best.
Mm-hmm.
And within a few months, you called your shot. You made it happen. From this thing of like, that's interesting, to no, I am better than anybody thought that I could be.
I'm giggling over here because you are so good at what you do that I have never put that story together ever in my life. But that's what I did last year. That is my entire underdog story, is like, I'm going to show you. I'm going to go after what looks fun because, Enneagram 7, I'm like, fun sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be good at it now, but you watch me. I'm going to make $1 million in 16 months, which I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It is magic. It is fun. I love this, but to see how that all happens. And once we go into this, you see that the story, it is the same story, and you are living the same journey. And it is that same, 13-year-old trying to prove herself, trying to just make an impact, believing that she's good enough because you've had this positive voice in your life this whole time. And so why not? Mm-hmm. And now here, 20 years later, almost, you make the same call on a much larger scale, on a much larger impact and financial scale for you and your family. And you said your future generations, that's the game we're playing now.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't so that you can, rah, zip, boom, bah. This is now so you can invest in life change.
Absolutely.
That's a shot that I'm celebrating you calling. This is good stuff. So what do you do with that? Okay. So I asked, what's a moment that you felt that urge of like, I deserve this and I'm going for it. You brought us back to cheerleading. There's this whole story that you lived around, okay, I'm going into nutrition. I'm going to try these things. I'm going to lean into this job and that job, and this can be done better. We can look at, I'm filling in your story here just to get to the good stuff. But because I want to hear this last year even more, because that leads you to this place now where you go, I am better off on my own rather than being attached to or working for somebody to get my beliefs out, to help people. Like, just explain that sort of, leaving the big industry, I guess, or what that looks like. And again, just fill in part of the story that I'm telling in a really terrible way here.
Yeah. So the pandemic hit, and I realized the reason that I wasn't happy in my life or wasn't totally fulfilled was there were so many ceilings of what I could do. I was crushing it at my job, although my bosses weren't like acknowledging that, or I didn't feel acknowledged or that they were grateful for what I was doing. Anyways,
yeah.
I realized that was why I was unhappy. And also there was a financial ceiling. I asked for at one point a 40% raise because I was like, listen, I'm worth this. It was like going from like 80,000 to like 130. That's got to be a bigger percent. And I was like, this is legit. Yeah. And it, one of the guys, there are two owners of this pharmacy I was working at. I was the director of nutrition. And one of them, it looked like I had stolen their firstborn of how offended they were. And at that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm out. Because I didn't feel worthy there. And so I quit my job. I started my own business, and it didn't feel like a ceiling anymore. It felt like this expansiveness, this I can do whatever I want. I can decide and take action on anything I desire. And that's still how I live.
You said it so offhanded there. I didn't feel worthy there, so I left. How many people are listening to this right now that are just suffering through a situation that of course they're not being shown worth. They're not getting their proper value. Should they leave?
Oh my golly. I just thought of so many things. I'm like, you could, like, even a partner or something, right, might not be showing you your value in a relationship. Yeah. That's what just came to my mind too.
Yeah.
And absolutely, it's my belief that you have to take action on that, because like no one else is going to take that action for you. So if you feel unworthy in a situation, yes, it might be this other person that's making you feel that, but truthfully, it's within yourself, and it's up to you to put yourself in environments and with people that are going to believe in you, that are going to say you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Like your mom.
Like my mama.
We just all need your mom on our team. That's it. She still do this?
In the ass sometimes. Well, so I'm starting the supplement company. She calls me the other day and is like, I'm gonna get a cut of that when you sell, right? I was like, shit, you've got balls. But I guess that's where I got my balls.
So yes.
You will get a cut, I suppose.
Fine. Here's your Tesla.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not feeling worthy. So I'm going to go and do the thing where I get all the choice. There's no ceiling. There's no limit to this. Again, I keep coming up against this, like, who is this woman? Like, where does that kind of belief? I've heard it. I've already heard it. Where does that belief come from? Where does that begin? And then the evidence shows up. Well, and then there's this situation, and then there's this situation that proved that, yeah, I am capable. When I'm confident, things change.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because you brought up, you're putting the pieces together of my story. And I even, like, inside of me get a little mad because I'm like, even with cheerleading practice, I did show up good enough. I should have made it on that basketball squad. But it's almost kind of like, because I didn't, and because, you know, other times in my life where I felt like this, it pushed me to grow further. Yep. When people have told me, you know, I got told 2 weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago in present day, that my goals were unrealistic. Someone told me this. Mm-hmm. The freaking audacity. Now, what's going on? I'm like, okay, team, how are we going to crush this goal?
So you face any sort of resistance and you're like, great, let's suit up.
Yep. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Very much. And you can be off of my team.
So,
and you can go elsewhere.
I love this though, because I get that idea of like, I did show up. I was good enough, because I feel like most of my life I've shown up trusting that the skills that I have are good enough. Mm-hmm. And I can basically make anything happen with a conversation. I'm relationally strong enough that I can put out fires and maybe start, you know, a situation. I don't know, whatever that is, to start something good or end something bad. With my words, with my character.
Yeah.
Charisma, etc. Like I can do the things. And I would get frustrated when it wouldn't happen. Mm-hmm. Like I am showing up good enough. I'm bringing my best. Why is this thing not happening? And the truth is, it was my best in that situation, but there's new levels to recognize that are necessary for that thing. Because who I am now, how I'm showing up now, the confidence that I'm showing up, the ability, the boldness, the courage that I'm showing up with now is to not wait for things to come to me, but go and get them. Mm-hmm. And I'm still not even on your level with that, but I love watching you and being a part of that, because you are an encouragement for me to do that. But that's what I feel like there's this idea of, I am good enough to make that team. Mm-hmm. So why am I not? Maybe something is missing, and I can work to make that happen. And that actually is the point. Again, being grateful for that decision so that I can learn what I needed to learn, so that I can show up better than ever before.
Absolutely.
Look at you.
Good stuff.
So the last year, how has this felt as you you've got a story of even entering into another, this mastermind, and how you felt going into that. And you said it was very much like cheerleading or any of that stuff. Like, just bring us into this. And then ultimately, you know, where do you see that you might face this again going forward? But let's start with just the last year.
Yeah. So because last year, it was at the beginning of 2021. I had my business for 7-8 months, and I just made the cut to get into our mutual mentor, Chris Harder's Mastermind, and called my shot, asked myself, am I going to regret doing this or not doing this? Because it was a huge financial investment, and it was a huge, hello, universe, look at me. I'm going all in on this big dream of mine, and showing myself, like, I'm going to put myself in rooms with people who are way further ahead. And I had done that before, right? Like I've been in spots that made me uncomfortable, that helped me grow.
Yeah. At that point, you said to see this dream of mine. What was the dream of yours at that point? That you're like, I'm going to go in here, be in this container to see this realized. What was the big audacious dream at that a year ago?
To make $1 million. So that was the big dream. Honestly, it was based around a revenue goal. And it's interesting. There's a statistic. Only 2% of female founded companies ever hit $1 million in revenue.
2%.
2%.
Any idea what the stat is around male founded companies?
That's a great question, but definitely higher.
Well, yeah. I don't mean we know why. We both understand why, because all of the limitations, everything, right?
Yeah. That was really good.
Wow, that had an opportunity to be real chauvinistic right there. Well, obviously.
It's funny. Our other mutual friend, Jess Glazer, who was an expander of mine, truly expanded what I believed was possible. And I was watching her on Instagram, and I started working with her in December. She had in her Instagram bio, first million in 18 months. Mm-hmm. And not only was my goal at the beginning of last year to make $1 million, I wanted to do it at the rate that she did it. And so I set that goal, not knowing what I would do, not knowing how many pivots 2021 would take. You know, at that time a year ago, I was just a functional medicine dietitian healing people's guts. Now I'm a dietitian, I'm a founder and CEO, and I'm a business coach. And so that took a lot of courage, a lot of confidence to make all of those pivots.
And that happened within the container? Was that it? Absolutely. Within the mastermind? Like that was it. It was the network. It was the people. That's how you found all of that confidence.
At the first mastermind, I was feeling so yucky about myself. I'm like, what am I doing here? These people are crushing it. I don't know what I'm doing. I've literally had my business 8 months. And then I got on the airplane and I was like downloading ideas. I started, a mastermind right after that for dietitians. And that was created my first 6-figure month. And so I didn't create that out of, this is my way to $1 million. I created that out of desire and for solving a problem in my industry. And then it brought me to my goal of that $1 million. I just kept following my gut and my heart.
Time out for a second here. Do you have something right at 5?
No.
Okay. We might go a few minutes longer. We're good?
Oh, I'm great. Yep.
Okay, good. And I got to say, one thing that I really appreciate about you is the amount of times that I've heard you say, like, you know, I was following my gut. And linking that, I don't know how or when or where this links in your marketing or in this material or where it will, but the fact that you're a gut health dietitian and you're following your gut in your business, like it's so there, you know?
Yeah. Well, this is my belief too. Like as an entrepreneur, if we are not healthy, like I healed myself out of all of my gut issues much before my entrepreneurial journey. I cannot imagine being an entrepreneur and having significant health struggles. So my belief, deep to my core, is that you've got to heal your body and then you can go crush it. But how could you ever listen to your gut in entrepreneurship, in any decision, if your gut is screwed up? You can't, because you're like, I hate you. I can't listen. You make me feel bad all the time. You're not going to listen to your gut instinct at all.
Right. And so, oh man, right. So there's this balance between, and people's minds are going crazy right now. Are we talking about literal gut, or are we talking about like this imaginary abstract thing? And it's like, yes, it's both. You're saying, look, get your body healthy and then your mind will follow, like that sort of, you know, as far as that goes, as an entrepreneur, you're like, no matter what dreams you have, you won't be able to follow that intuition until your body is actually healthy enough.
1,000%.
But also there's this idea of like, how is your intuition? Like, how is that gut doing? How is the health around that? And how do we create health around those voices, those ideas? Mm-hmm. And you were also, and have always been, it sounds like, working on that health and getting really strong with that from the start of like, hey, like, listen to this idea. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
I deserve this.
Yes.
And for those of us that did not grow up like that, have that from the beginning, you are here to help us create that. Mm-hmm. That kind of a healthy intuition, healthy belief. that it's all possible. And here's the craziest part, Bridget. You believe that it is all possible for us.
Absolutely.
You truly believe that like what you have done, the journey that you've been on is more than possible for any human?
Yes. If it's within you, it's for you. See, this is the really interesting thing. I've been working with this business coaching client for 3 months. Come to find out, her last coach never believed in her. And that breaks my heart, because if you have someone who's in your corner, be in someone's corner, actually. Believe in them. So me as like a coach, or me as a best friend, or me as a leader in my business, I believe that everyone can do whatever they desire and should be doing what their gut tells them, what they want to do.
So, okay. So just clarify this as we kind of land the plane here, because this is going to be a really key takeaway. I think you've got this. We know what belief sounds like. And you as a coach show up and will sound just like you've sounded here in the last, over this podcast, and share this belief with people. And this is amazing. You're going to pump our tires. You're going to help us create those goals and everything. It's phenomenal, your work. But you said that this person had a coach that did not believe in her.
Yeah.
What does that sound like? And I ask that so that those who are hearing and experiencing that can be hyper aware and again leave a situation where they are not treated as worthy, if so be.
I mean, I think there are probably a lot of people who are in that situation, just questioning what this person actually wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, this person said, I want to have a team of dietitians under me. I want to do all of these things. And instead of being their cheerleader and say, yes, you can freaking do that if that's inside of you, and now let me help you, let me support you in creating that vision. Her past coach had said, I don't know, does that seem doable? Does that seem realistic?
I think that realistic is not in your vocabulary, is it?
Oh my God, Alex. So we have a rule in my company that we call it the R word. And any contractors that I hire, anyone working on my team cannot say, we built a realistic goal. What the hell are you doing building a realistic goal? Don't give me that bullshit. Goals are
This is so good, because we had a conversation and I set a financial goal, and then I was like, yeah. And then I had this other conversation where, like, we were talking about a goal and it was way higher than that. You're like, wait, so why are you working towards this lower one? I was like, I don't know. It felt more plausible. So it wasn't, at least it wasn't the R word.
Call it plausible, call it realistic, call it responsible. Ooh, that really gets me going. Like, who's looking at your business and your goals? Is that your father? I don't know. Who are we wanting to be responsible towards?
Oh, man.
Oh,
she's letting loose, folks. So look, here you are, and here you sit after this wild ride of a year that is a microcosm of the whole ride that you've been on, which is, again, entering this room wondering, am I good enough for this? Is this really it? Do I have what it takes? Starting out playing small, and then very quickly saying, yeah, I've got this. I've got ideas and they need to be created. And that has turned into what you are and who you are and how you're showing up now as this confident person who once, again, I love this, right? Like this container that you grew up in. It's, again, there's this idea of like, is it stuck? Is it contained? Is it what is it that they're contained to confident? There's this beautiful story and journey there of 4 people who feel like they're stuck. They're in a system. They're in something that seems to be too small. There are too many ceilings, or the ceilings are too close. And you're like, come to me, because I get you. I get where you are. I understand that. And I want to open your eyes to see that when you show up confident, the opportunities come and they never freaking stop.
Yeah. Wow, that's good.
So if people need that, I mean, when all the people who do need that and want to start a conversation with you, because you're just so damn fun, but also because you create results, what's the best way to start that conversation?
Well, I'd like to reflect to you that I think they should be reaching out to you also, and or just like in general, because like you pulled that all out, right? I didn't see any of that. Every time I talk to you, I'm like, oh shit, I understand a part of my story. That then what does that do? It then helps me connect with the people that I do want to help, my business coaching clients, people in my line. So they should be reaching out to you. But anyways, I'd love to connect.
I received that. Sure. Yes. Let's
Yeah.
just, okay. Thank you. Great. Excellent. Now back to you. Let's just hit the ball back.
Boom, boom. We're playing ping pong over here. Yeah. So I do business coaching with women in wellness. I do it for men too, but women in wellness sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? I have a mastermind, which is for women. That one is for women. I'm sorry, Alex. Maybe at some point. Shit. It's for women in like the wellness space, $500,000 to $1 million in revenue they want to hit. And then I do one-on-one coaching for a select few of my most amazing people in my life and people that want it all. And they come to me and they're like, yo, I want it all, like, just like you have. And so we do fun things. And then I can also heal your gut in so many different ways. So,
okay. Best way to find you.
Well by Bridget on Instagram. Shoot me a message. I freaking love connecting.
Excellent. You are like, in the DMs all the time. Like, does she sleep? What's the deal here? Stop messaging me. No, I've never actually said that.
You have for sure.
No, you've probably said that. I'm like, help me understand how to use these gut meds. 10 o'clock at night.
I love it.
No, it's good.
Best.
Of course you do. This is, this is such a great joy. I would love to have you back and talk more, maybe less about your story and more about how to start to implement these things at some point and really see that and how we can shape someone else's story. Or we just have fun for another hour. I don't know. And people can be entertained. This is such a joy. You are one of my very favorite people, and I am so grateful for you sharing your story, for being so receptive, and for constantly driving us and encouraging us forward. It is what you do. It is in your blood. You cannot help it. And of course, you've been a cheerleader from the beginning. It's what you do now. Yes. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, you're one of my favorite people too. This is so good. I hope you guys enjoyed.